BRICbats by Investors Business Daily. Read by OutloudOpinion.com. June 17th, 2009. Globalism. 4 emerging economies met in Russia Tuesday to seek an alternative to the dollar. It's futile, but it shows how Washington's spending binge harms the world's prospects. The Bush administration took a lot of flack for its supposed, quote, unilateralism, unquote, in global affairs. But there's a new breed of go-it-alone, quote, unilateralism, unquote, in the unrestrained U.S. fiscal spending that's causing trading partners to worry about the value of their dollar assets. It's hitting Brazil, Russia, India, and China in the pocketbook as they fret about the value of their $2.8 trillion in dollar holdings, about 42% of the world's total. So it's no surprise that the big 4 emerging economies, dubbed the BRIC nations in 2001 by Goldman Sachs, met in Yekaterinburg, Russia this week to try to find a way to defend their interests. At the summit's conclusion, Russian leader Dmitry Medvedev spoke of wanting a new global reserve currency that is, quote, diversified, stable, and predictable, unquote, because the dollar isn't fitting that bill right now. The 4 tried to find ways to reduce their reliance on dollars. They fear that it's headed for a big devaluation. They agreed to trade more freely with each other and to move dollar reserves into International Monetary Fund bonds. And China made a symbolic gesture Wednesday of selling some treasury assets, which is where it parks most of the dollars it earns from trading with us. None of these schemes will work. BRIC economies, even together, still don't match the size of the U.S. economy. And their per capita incomes will take decades to rise to U.S. levels. Having dollars is a function of trade, and for the foreseeable future, these countries will need U.S. markets to grow. Nor will buying IMF bonds fix the problem. The U.S. is the top funder of the IMF, making all of its worth contingent on the willingness of Congress to finance it. The group knows this. That's why it made no collective statement on the dollar at the summit's conclusion. As news leaked out about BRIC wanting to break free of the dollar's value fell. And even that hurt the BRIC's dollar assets by devaluing them. Even so, that doesn't mean their discontent is invalid. With Congress and the Obama administration spending $3.9 trillion this year, $3.6 trillion next year, and another $4 trillion for health care, all emerging nations that depend on trade with us have reason to worry. As the dollar goes, so go their dollar holdings. So these countries will do what they can to break free of us. In the end, it means lost influence for the U.S. The up-and-coming BRICs make up about 15% of the world's economy and 40% of its population. Goldman notes that Brazil and Russia are leaders in commodity exports, China and India in manufacturing exports. All are veterans of state-led command economies. All changed course and opened up to investment and development around 1990. All decided private sector growth was better than state control. And all are determined to break out of the third world to become great powers. Their actions have led to annual growth rates around 9% to 10% in recent years, and they'll still grow faster than most of the rest of the world in 2009. While Goldman forecasts a 1.1% decline in global GDP this year, the BRICs will post a 4.3% expansion. These burgeoning economies, with their big populations and booming trade, will influence all the little economies around them. A prime example of this is Vietnam, which opened up its once cloistered economy in 1986 to avoid being outcompeted by China. The discontent of the BRICs, therefore, is a global phenomenon because small nations in their regions follow them. As such, the U.S. failure to rein in spending will have far-reaching impacts on the world economy. A world united against the dollar will not be a friendly place. Look for the word, quote, unilateral, unquote, to start cropping up again, just as it did during the Bush years. But this time, it will be because we are at odds with the world's prosperity. That's no way to win friends abroad. Copyright Investors Business Daily. Read by OutloudOpinion. For more podcasts, go to ibdeditorials.com and OutloudOpinion.com.